all have a look and see who's in the green room for tonight. We have one of the best loved and funniest performers in the country, ladies and gentlemen. A great comic talent. He's also a singing, dancing, show business phenomenon. It's no exaggeration to say he's already secured a place in the nation's heart. One of the funniest men I've ever met. Ladies and gentlemen, no. That's not Boris's intro. It's Mr. James Corden, ladies and gentlemen. That's who I was talking about. How's that, I'm very well. Glad to see you. OK, also on the show we have an irrepressible force of nature. A man with an outrageous sense of humour, terrible dress sense. Ladies... No! It's Keith Lemon. That's who I'm talking about. Keith Lemon's on the show. That's exactly. OK? Changing the mood, we also have on the show a muscular, charismatic heartthrob. A man never... No! How does that... Why would you do that? Mr. John Hamm is here, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. John Hamm. OK. If you like your grime, your dubstep, your modern urban beats, we have one of the most on-trend, sexy street stars of today. Right there.
On the head, Ross.
It's almost like they're doing it on purpose, isn't it? It's Talisa. Talisa's here. Lovely to see you, Talisa. I adore Talisa. And you'll never guess we have a special surprise guest on the show tonight. You'll be amazed when you see that we have the Mayor of London, Mr. Boris Johnson, here. There he is, right here. I'm sorry, Boris. Good one. OK. And not only we have all those great guests, we also have fantastic music for you tonight. It's such a packed show from one of my favourite talents. She's just a wonderful singer, but also a lovely woman. It's Paloma Faith. The fantastic Paloma Faith right there. OK. Let's get my first guest out, ladies and gentlemen. He's one of our biggest stars of both the big and the small screen. If you've ever been lucky enough to see him live, he's been on the West End for a while. He also was on Broadway recently. He's just a brilliant stage actor, performer as well. It's the one and only Mr. James Corden, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is.
Very good. How are you?
Great to see you. James Corden, you are looking fly, if you don't mind me saying so.
Thank you very much.
I'm
About
lucky,
20 seconds into this show, Boris shouted to someone off camera and went, "I told you this was a mistake."
Well, it's going to be fun. I like him a lot. Do you like him?
Yeah, I'm a big fan, yeah.
A lot has happened since last time I met you in your life. Let's deal with one lovely thing. First of all, you've had another baby.
I have, yes.
Isn't that lovely?
I've had...
Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Cheers.
So tell me about the new arrival.
We've had a little girl. I have a son who's nearly 4.
You've got Max, who's nearly 4.
That's right, and we have a little girl who we've called Carey, which is my wife's maiden name.
Lovely.
She was Julia Carey when we met, so she's Carey Corden, and she's great. She's lovely. It's hard work, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's graft. Like, one's like you've got a nice pet, and 2 is like you've bought a zoo. Do you know what I mean? It's, yeah, but it's really good.
So, if I'm right, you've just flown back into the country.
Yeah.
And is it true you were on the flight with some fairly high-profile passengers?
Well, I went to New York for the premiere and junket for this film, Into the Woods, and it's a Disney film, and I was flown in first class, which I never have done before. You know, it's amazing. It's bigger than my first flat. It was great. And and I was in the cabin with William and Kate. I know. And so my first thought was, well, if this plane goes down, I'm not getting a mention.
You're not even in the news.
Zero.
You are one of the 200 others.
Yeah. And I took off at like midnight, so everyone sort of tried to sleep. And then I've never flown in first class before, so when I was led off the plane, I'm just in... They tried to get us out quite quickly, and I'm in this queue with these other people, and I've got, like, you know, my headphones in, listening to Uptown Funk, and I'm walking out, and as I'm walking out, this side door just opens, chunk, like that, and these people start walking out and going down these steps, and I'm like, wow, this is... Disney have really looked after me on this trip. This is amazing. I don't have to get on the train thing, and I'm walking down, you know, Uptown Funk, don't get it. And this hand goes, wrong. And he goes, this guy goes, what are you doing down here? And I went, what? And he goes, what are you doing down here? And I went, oh, no, I think it's a Disney thing, because... So I'm in this film. He goes, we got a 526, and then I'm going, no, I'm not a 526. I'm not a 5. No, I'm not. And so he goes, you're gonna have to go back up the stairs. And I'm looking at this like Jaguar and these Range Rovers, and I'm like, oh, just give me a lift, go on. And I'm like, you know, I'm all right. I'm not gonna, you know. And then anyway, so I'm walking back up the stairs. And I'm back in.
So you're to go back up.
So I'm back up the stairs, Uptown Funk, don't get. And this hand goes, boom, and the guy goes, what are you doing in the stairwell? And I was like. I went, it's my first time in first class. And he went, we got a 526. And so anyway, I got out and I got on the train and managed to get my bag. But then as I got my bag, I thought, well, technically, I can say I've slept with the future King of England.
Yes.
We all slept together.
All together at the same time?
Yeah, we were all asleep.
So, you mentioned Disney, Find You Better, because you were out there because there's a big new movie. And I'm so thrilled this has been made into a film because I'm a huge fan. It's out on the 9th of January. It's after Christmas. It's Into the Woods, a big fantasy fairy tale musical with a dark twist to it, based on the work by the genius Stephen Sondheim. Tell me about the cast, the people in this with you.
It's Meryl Streep and Johnny Depp, Emily Blunt, Chris Pine, Anna Kendrick, Tracy Ullman, Christine Baranski, and oddly me.
No? Well, I've seen the film already. I love Sondheim. OK, I'm laying out there.
I know
I
you
love Sondheim. I love the film. But I tell you, I went with some people who are like, real like me. They're kind of musical nuts, OK? We're nuts for this kind of musical. They came out, and I'm not just saying this. You know the person they came out raving about? 526, right over there. That's who they were raving about. Everyone came out and said, my God, Corden was incredible.
Oh,
so I'm hoping you feel that way. I'm hoping you feel pleased with the way you've done it.
I'm immensely proud to be in it. It's certainly, you know, the biggest sort of role I've ever had in anything of that scale. And, you know, like, I used to think when I was... Look, I remember the first time I saw Into the Woods, and I remember thinking on stage and thinking, well, you know, if I was old enough and this came back to the West End, I wondered if I'd be able to play the baker. Never in my wildest dreams did I think at the moment it would be committed to film.
You'd be the one.
With such a cast that I would get to be in it.
We should explain a bit about what it's about. I alluded to it being a fairy tale, but it's a twist on it. How would you describe the movie?
Well, it's all of the Brothers Grimm fairy tales, and at the centre of the story is my character and Emily Blunt's character, who are the baker and the baker's wife, who have had a curse put on their family by Meryl Streep's witch, meaning that they can't have a child that they long for. And essentially it's a real play on the sense of fairy tales being happily ever after, and then that's not really the case in life. OK, let's have a look at a clip. This is a clip, as I said, it's out after Christmas. It's 9th of January, in fact. It's called Into the Woods. Incredible songs by Stephen Sondheim, and just a wonderful performance by James in it. Look at this.
You've got the cape.
What have you done with the cow?
She ran away.
What?
Never even reached home. I've been looking for her all night.
How could you?
Well, she might just as easily have run away from you.
Yeah, but she didn't.
Yeah, but she might have done.
But she didn't.
But she might have done.
Chairs! Cow's gone. Get it back. Get it back.
We were just about to do that, but here, in the meantime...
Get away from me with that, you fool! I can't touch it. Remember?
No, I forgot.
By midnight tomorrow, bring me the items, or that child you wish for will never see the light of day!
Don't like that woman.
Yeah. And if you like musicals, you've got to go and see it so they'll make more.
Yeah.
But it is very much a full-blown fantasy. And seeing Meryl Streep as the witch, that's she is tremendous, isn't she? But did she almost have an accident on set or during rehearsal? I read something about her falling over and it could have been pretty bad.
It was day 2 of rehearsals. There's a bit in the film where she does this sort of witch's rap, where she... with me and Emily, and she's rehearsing, and Meryl sort of takes it as far as she can before bringing it back in, and she's jumping all over the place. And she jumped on this desk, which was probably this much higher than this one. And she jumped up and she caught her heel in her skirt and just started to fall backwards towards a stone floor, like head first. And I'll be honest, I just froze, because it's day 2, and I just thought, oh, my God, I'm about to watch Meryl Streep die.
I'll be honest.
she's gonna die.
I didn't
And
know that
Rob
was. I didn't know
Marshall-
her death would get such a big laugh. I'll be honest with you.
Rob Marshall, the director, also froze, thinking, "Oh my God, she's going to die." And Emily Blunt, who was pregnant at the time, leapt in and saved her. And Meryl was like, "Thanks, fellas," and we were like, "Oh God, thank God you're alive." It was a little bit like that.
Are you going to stick around, I hope, James?
I can't wait to meet the big dog.
He is the Mayor of London, ladies and gentlemen, one of Britain's most recognisable politicians. Will you please welcome Mr. Boris Johnson?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening.
Boris, lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on.
It's a joy.
OK, let's start with this. I didn't know you had such an exotic name. Boris Johnson, we all know. The middle... Wow, the full name. Can I share this with everyone? Are you ready for this?
You can.
Alexander Boris de Pfeffel. De Pfeffel.
De Pfeffel. It's my grandmother.
What a great name.
My grandmother.
De Pfeffel.
De Pfeffel.
Is that how you... De Pfeffel, am I saying it right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, nobody... Well, no, we don't know exactly how it's meant to be pronounced. That's how my grandmother wanted it pronounced.
Where is the Pfeffel? Where is the... Where,
De Pfeffel, basically, she was basically French, though it turned out she was also German as well.
She sounds like a bit of a player.
She came from one of those... Her family came from one of those areas that was contested between France and Germany.
Like Alsace-Lorraine?
That's the one.
Wow.
And so from Colmar, in fact.
De Pfeffel.
De Pfeffel. And so she might have been von Pfeffel.
Well, don't make it harder.
But anyway, there you go.
Well, thanks for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. OK.
Shall I go now?
No, sit down. Hey, but James, you've got quite an unusual middle name as well, haven't you?
I do. My middle name is Kimberly.
It is.
True story. James Kimberly Corden. It's my dad's middle name. My granddad's middle name. His.
Well, that's lovely. It goes right back.
Yeah.
Kimberly,
yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Tough at school, I'll be honest. I've embraced it now.
Well, you think you had problems? He was De Pfeffel.
Steady on, old cock.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to go full. I'm going to go full public school.
Are you going full posh?
Come on.
Bloody hell, old Ben.
Yeah. Knock it on.
Out of bloody order, old boss.
Out of order. Yeah. Knock it on there.
Yeah, come on. Let's get back to the bloody thing in hand. Let's get here and sell some fucking books.
I feel well and truly told now.
I'm delighted that James has got the... He seized the steering wheel.
Bloody Bullingdon boys.
Exactly right.
That's right.
Boys.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson, did you travel...
Steady on, old bro. Come on, now.
No one wants to see the full Christmas lunch this early. Put those sprouts away. Boys, did you travel by bicycle to get here this evening?
I came by bicycle.
I love that you, even in the cold weather, you do the cycling.
Why not? It's the quickest, it's most efficient, most beautiful way of... That is a most beautiful way of getting... Do you go by bicycle, Jim?
Well, I have bought a bike. I don't go on these because I like to wear a helmet. So
that's the thing.
I've got a bike and I do that. Yeah.
The thing is, it's a very good point. They tried making the helmets mandatory in Australia, and people just stopped doing it. They stopped taking the bike. So I think the health benefits of encouraging cycling outweigh, in my view, the risk, and that actually the medical evidence is mixed on this. So
it's mixed on what? Helmets?
It's mixed on it.
Bullshit.
No, it's
absolute bullshit. No way. No. You can do whatever you want. You go and get a watermelon. I'll get a watermelon. I'll put mine in a helmet.
I know.
You drop yours on the road.
I know.
I'll drop mine on the road and see which one looks better.
Sure.
That's not true. It just isn't true. It's better to wear a helmet.
I promise you, and I don't want to have an argument about this, but
no.
If you look at tragically, when you look at the people who have accidents in London, very, and we obviously have a small number of fatalities and quite a large number of minor accidents. Most of them have nothing to do with the head, and the fatalities almost never. So, I hesitate to say this because I know that people care very passionately about this issue, and I'll probably be absolutely murdered for this for saying this tomorrow. But the reality is, we are not going to make wearing helmets on the hard bikes mandatory. because it would discourage cycling. And I want to encourage cycling.
Yeah.
And cycling has actually gone up massively. In fact, I think we've now got 580,000 people cycling every day in London.
On the bikes that Ken Livingstone put in.
No, he did not. No, he did not. He had no plan. He had no... Absolute nonsense. He had no plan and he had no budget.
I thought he did. I'm sorry. I apologise.
Nonsense.
I thought it was Ken. I thought it was Red Ken.
It's complete nonsense. It's complete nonsense. He had no plan, he had no budget, he had no sponsorship. You know, who was he going to get to pay for it?
I don't know. Who was he going to get to pay for it?
The RMT, you know, absolutely not. It was our idea.
But there was a crossover, wasn't there?
No, there was nothing.
I thought there was.
You miserable lefty.
But
you relentlessly sticking to the script. It's not true.
But you invented the beef eaters, though, didn't you? You're taking credit for them, didn't you?
And the fact that the Thames meanders through London.
When people come up to you and they see you out and about, and you're out there, I know you're out there, so I think you're very accessible. I think you are a singularly popular politician. I think it's very unusual that someone in politics is actually liked. And I think, am I right in saying this? Do you
It's a wasting asset. It's a wasting asset. It's a wasting asset.
I know. Maybe it's a backhanded compliment. I know that.
Exactly.
But I think one of the reasons why, if I may be so bold, is the fact that you do seem to speak fairly honestly compared to many people in politics.
I've told you what I think about cycle helmets, and that didn't go down at all well.
No.
And it's true, but it has the additional it has the only merit of being true.
People like to hear that.
And
this is my question for you here: is do you think that we are in an age now where politics, and there must be some politicians who are people of conviction and who get into politics? You know, it's easy for us to judge them, but it's not necessarily a particularly hospitable working environment, I imagine. And some of them get it, you know, for conviction, but they hold back from talking honestly and openly for fear of what will be said on Twitter and what will be picked up in the newspapers.
And that is having a very sterilising and pasteurising effect on politics, because everybody is terrified of the twit storm that will happen, and if you say something out of line. So actually, we had this huge discussion. In fact, you were party to it, part of it. You actually mentioned earlier on. Nobody on my team wanted me to come on because they never know what I'm going to say.
But let's not gloss over that. Not one person on Boris's team thought this was a good idea, him coming on the show, and he came on anyway. Don't you admire?
Because unless you try and overcome the initial twit storm of hysteria and get, for instance, now I'm going to get myself into real trouble. Anne Jenkin made a point the other day about porridge.
This was to do with poor people.
She said it was cheaper to have porridge than to have cereal, or something like that. Now everybody immediately came in on her, and as far as I can make out, it's true. Is porridge not cheaper than cereal?
I don't know. I have eggs. How would I know? I like an egg in the morning.
I haven't done any original research on this matter. I haven't studied whether. But
you carry on.
You check
it
out.
You
Google it. She said that porridge is cheaper.
Do a comparison thing. Do Aldi and Morrison's. All right.
She said. Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is, unless you're prepared to say things which may be difficult, you won't get your message across. And what's happening now is that everybody is getting totally fed up.
OK, so let's have a... Well, then, in what other way can we gauge this?
Well, no.
That's good.
I can tell you...
I'll go with it.
For each...
It's all right. This is the modern Tory party, folks, isn't it?
I know.
I told you.
Hang on. Come on, old fruit, we've all done it. No,
Speak yourself, Gordon.
For each... I love that. Gordon, Johnson, Bullingdon, bugger, yeah. No, for each 100 grams of everyday essential porridge oats, the price is 7.5 pence.
OK.
Which is considerably cheaper than
But I
Serie.
suspect the controversy wasn't based merely on the price point. I think it was more that it seemed dismissive and elitist that someone would say, if the poor did this instead of that, when it's a situation in which they have next to no actual experience.
Yeah, that's an outrageous thing to say.
That's the problem,
Yes.
I think.
Okay.
That's the problem.
That I can say. On the other hand, beneath that,
yes,
that you know,
I agree with you on the board.
There was a truth.
Yeah,
there was a truth.
There was a truth, and also people are waiting for an
It's
opportunity
about
to barge in.
context, is the point. It's context.
All right.
OK, we're going to take a break. See you in a couple of minutes.
Come on.
Welcome back to the show. I'm still here with James Corden and Boris Johnson. Let us talk about the book, which is sort of the reason you're on here. And I'm a history fan. I studied history at London University. I like reading history pleasure, and I've been enjoying this very much. The book is Boris Johnson, The Churchill Factor. Why did you want to do a book about him? Because there are quite a few already, of course.
There are. And the reason is very simple. It's because I think that he is genuinely in danger of not being forgotten. Obviously, nobody's going to forget him. But imperfectly remembered. People don't know how he helped to start the welfare state in the early part of the 20th century. They've forgotten what he did to invent the tank. They've forgotten how he helped to start the State of Israel, modern Ireland. He basically wrote the map of the entire Middle East. He helped basically to win the First World War in addition to the Second World War. And I think people have forgotten so much about him. They did a study the other day that said most kids in Britain actually think Churchill is the dog in the insurance advertisement. And that is tragic. That
yes, I agree.
This guy who was absolutely colossal in.
Well, I didn't realise until I was reading the book, and I thought I knew a bit of him. I didn't realise how crucial he was to us actually carrying on the fight against Hitler.
Yeah, and of course, having taken that decision to fight on, within a year, 30,000 British men, women, and children were dead, and you cannot imagine any modern politician having the guts to do that. And so in that book, I wanted to explain how he came to be the guy who was capable of taking that decision, what made him the man he was.
You know, the thing about him being this sort of figurehead of Tories, of course, for a long while, he wasn't a member of the Tory party, of course. He jumped ship.
Yeah, but Churchill left, would you believe it? He left for the Liberal Party because he was a progressive. And
do you think, by the way, do you think the Liberal Party will survive after this period, or do you think they're gone?
Well, I think insofar as all subatomic particles survive, there will be some residue. Yes.
Oh, Nick. There'll be a little stain that Nick Clegg leaves behind in the House of Parliament.
There'll be something there. But you know, he was. I think he, to a certain extent, Churchill's character incarnated what it was all about. It was all about freedom.
Let me try this on for size.
Yes.
See how you like the sound of this. Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
No.
Yeah.
How do you like the sound of that?
Yeah,
you must like the sound of it. Don't say no. You must like it. Everyone likes the sound of it.
You must want to be Prime Minister, no?
Yeah, and also,
why would you get into it if not to?
No, yeah, exactly. Why would you get into politics hoping to make a difference and there's a chance you can get the top job, which there is a very real chance, and you know this, no need to be disingenuous, you know there's a very good chance that you're going to win that election
I've got another 18 months or something like that to be Mayor of London.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do my
after that
damnedest to discharge all the things I said I was going to do.
Of course,
and
that's not in doubt.
There's an awful lot still to be done.
Lovely. And when that's done, OK, and then you're just in the house with David Cameron, and he's already said you're part of his dream team or something.
Well, OK, right. Well, let's look at all that. David is going to be there for the. I think if you look at what's happening now, look at what's happening in the people have spotted this problem with Ed Miliband, which is.
Do you feel sorry for him though, because the press they've gone for him, haven't they? They have gone for him.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I write an article in the Telegraph, and I think I really kicked him in the slats. I think that was too mean, and but then on the other hand, he is proposing to lead our country.
He wants to run the country.
I've played hide and seek with him.
Have you really?
Yeah.
No.
True story.
Recently?
Yeah. So
who won?
Well, because his mum lives very close to our house, and I was with Max in this little square where there's swings and a slide and things, and Max went running off to play with these two boys, and he said to me, Daddy, we're playing hide and seek, and there was the dad of these two boys like this, going 1, 2, 3. So I went and sat on the bench, and was going 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ready or not, I'm coming. Oh, hello, all right. And it was him, and it was a Sunday, and so the two of us are like just wandering around going, oh, where could they be? And I'm thinking, this is a weird game of hide and seek.
Well, and in a way, that's what he's still doing with his economic policy. I mean, he's searching for it everywhere, and it's just proving a bit elusive at the moment. But we're waiting.
OK. Boris, it's been a great pleasure having you here.
Thank you very much. Am I released from my obligation?
Let me just check.
Come on, stick around, old Fred.
Who do we get?
Bloody come on.
Because we've got someone else coming out now. OK, come on.
Stay on.
Let's get my next guest out. I loved her in Endo. She was great on The X Factor, and it's wonderful to see her back on top after the difficult years she's been having. Here to tell us all about it, it's Talisa, ladies and gentlemen. Great to see you again. Great to see you. And James, here's Boris. Come and sit on there.
Hello, how do you do?
There you go.
Hiya.
Sit down on that couch. Great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. OK,
too.
let's deal with the big story out of the way first if we can.
OK, we're jumping in there. Woo.
Well, I think so. It's, you know, because that's what's on all our minds. What a year you've had, what an ordeal you've been through. I mean, let's sum this up then. As I understand it, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, is you were offered a film part, or you were asked to audition for a film part, and it was a tempting offer. And it's by a gentleman pretending, who used to work for the News of the World, then it became the Sun on Sunday, of course.
Yeah.
He was pretending to be a Bollywood producer.
Yeah.
Offering you a certain kind of role. This was a guy who's been known popularly as the fake sheikh. Is that right? And then they were asking you whether you could find some drugs for them, and they were filming and taping these meetings.
Well, no, it was a whole 4-month sting, so it started way back. I wasn't a professional actress, so they said, you know, Keira Knightley's up for the job. If you want to get this job, rather than show off your acting skills, you kind of have to go in for a formal audition. So if you make out to them, you are that girl.
They want you to come in acting like you were.
Yeah, and playing off the rebellious character that I'd had in the press via N-dubs, the feisty British female.
To act like someone who was familiar with drug and how to get drugs.
Exactly, and there's like a big point in the tapes where I start off and I go in and I'm kind of just basing my story on basics. So I'd had a court case with an ex-boyfriend ages ago, so I speak briefly about that. And then it goes from, you know, oh, I once was in a court case with my ex and smoked a bit of weed when I was younger, to I used to sell crack. And you hear the dramatic...
And you're coming out as a character saying...
precisely.
OK. Let me... Boris has admitted in the past to have snorted icing sugar.
It may have been icing. I don't recommend it.
I don't know what it was.
It may have been icing.
And we've eaten our fair share of icing sugar, haven't we, James?
Bloody damn right, I'm afraid.
What did he dress like? When he was being a Bollywood producer, I've seen this guy dressed as a sheikh, and of course he wears the gear you would expect, but when he was dressing as a Bollywood, what kind of outfit was the Bollywood producer wearing?
He was very much just a smart businessman wearing a suit, you know, like yourselves. You would never have...
So what did that do for you as a person when that happens to you? What do you go through, and how do you deal with being arrested? What happened to you? How did you deal with that?
It's hard because I don't want to, like, sit here and dwell on things. I know, like you said, it's the big pink elephant in the room. We've got to talk about it.
It's a pink elephant?
It's an expression, the pink elephant
just
in the
room.
Just
an elephant, I think. You can be pink if you want.
Well, it's pink, maybe.
Depends what you
my
take.
flamboyance like coming out. The pink elephant in the room.
That's how much icing sugar you've had, Fred.
I genuinely had my ups and downs throughout the year. I had moments when I woke up in the morning and was like, I can do this, I'm going to get through this, I'm going to come back bigger and better than ever. And then there were days where I was literally crying my eyes out on the bathroom floor with a bottle of vodka. I mean, it really did vary on the day, the moment, but I would say my overall approach to the situation was to stay strong, and I knew in my mind I had to stay strong. I didn't really have a choice. And, you know, I don't want to sound like a, you know, bit of a Bible basher all to their own, but I am a religious person and I am spiritual, and for me it did feel like it was just one big test that God was throwing at me to kind of give me a bit of a wake-up call, a year of enlightenment, and put my life into perspective.
Well, that's what an incredible way to look at that. And, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a really remarkable for you to be able to do that. I mean, what a horrible thing to go through. So you are back. You've got a new single out as well.
Yeah.
This is called Living Without You. So is this about someone in particular, or is it about generally the idea of being after a breakup?
Do you know what? The funny thing is that when I first heard the song, I loved everything about it, musically, the beat, the production, and the lyrics was, like, the one thing that bugged me, because I was like, if I had a breakup, I would never deal with it like that. There's quite a big level of desperation in the song. So, no, it wasn't about a guy for me, but then I thought about it, and I was like, do you know what? It actually relates to the year I've had and my relationship with the fans and the music, and not being able to do what I loved, which was be on stage and sing and to write songs. And so it was kind of like living without your love, as in the music. Yeah. And that's actually what I related to.
Something was taken away from you.
Yeah.
You maybe got it back. OK, so this is Living Without You. It's out 4th of January. Have a look at this. Be bigger than ever before. It's great you're back, and I'm thrilled you've been through. And when it was going on, I just thought this is hideous, and I'm glad that it seems to have worked well for you.
Thank you.
And you've come out of it stronger than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, Tulisa. Thank you so much for being here. Stick around here. Stick around here. All right. Well, Boris, you're going to leave us now, Boris, aren't you?
Very sorry.
He's got mayoral duties to do. He's got to go make sure all the Boris bikes in London are locked up for the night. All right, we'll soon come after the break. We have John Hamm, Keith Lemon and Paloma Faith will be performing live, so don't go away. Thank you very much. You're very kind. Welcome back to the show. Let's get my next guest out. He is a supremely talented screen heartthrob who oozes effortless charm. Just imagine me in about 10 years' time and you have the picture. Will you please welcome Mad Men's Don Draper himself. It's Mr. John Hamm. John, I'm very excited you're on the show. Very excited.
Thank you.
I'm a Mad Men fan. It's coming to an end now.
It is
indeed.
You
haven't finished... you haven't filmed the last episode.
We have, in fact, filmed the last 7 episodes. We finished in July, and they will air in the springtime of 2015, both in the US and the UK. And it's been difficult to sort of sit on the knowledge. It's always difficult to sit on knowledge, although sometimes it can be pleasant. But it's been hard to kind of not talk about how it ends, because you don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Yeah. Here's exciting news. This is why John's over here at the moment. He's made a television show for Channel 4, part of a series which I adore, and I hope you've been watching as well, Black Mirror. The kind of science fiction series that's been going out, and this is a Christmas special.
Indeed.
Now, this isn't the sort of show you would think of as being a Christmassy kind of show, is it, Black Mirror?
It's not so much a wholesome holiday tale, but you know, there is a bit of a tradition of sort of spooky, disturbing stories that goes all the way back to Dickens, I guess, as they relate to Christmas. And this is no exception to that. It dovetails quite nicely with that disturbing, dystopian, possible future.
It's on this Tuesday, coming up 9 p.m. Channel 4. Have a look at this, Black Mirror.
Sorry, who are you?
Stall until I find something.
Pretty sure I'm me. Just, you're not from the office. Who do you know from here?
Say, I know you, friendly.
I know you for one.
Dawson.
Dawson, isn't it?
You met at Kath's barbecue.
Yeah, we met at Kath's barbecue back in... June or so, yeah?
You had a pork pie hat.
You had a poor guy's hat.
A pork pie hat.
A pork pie hat that you wore on your head.
It's very clever. It's very clever. And it's scary as well. And so that kind of doesn't give too much away, because that's only part of what's going on, really.
Yes, that's sort of my story that I'm telling Rafe of how I have arrived in this remote outpost that we're both sort of stuck in for the duration of the series.
Yeah, yeah. It's a really, I mean, you know, if you like science fiction, if you like that kind of thing, you've got to watch this on Tuesday. How long did it take you to get where you are today? And were there times you thought, this is not going to happen, I'm going back to that?
Well, I gave myself like a 5-year window. I came out there when I was 25 years old, and I figured if I haven't at least become independent, away from bartending and waiting tables and sort of part-time jobs, at least by the time I'm 30, then I think we'll figure that the market has spoken and it's time to pull up the stakes and turn my 1986 Toyota Corolla eastward and head back.
What was the worst job you had in that period? What was the worst job to make ends meet that you had?
Oh, there's so many. I was a set dresser. I don't know if you know what that is. That's the person that, when they move the cameras on movie sets, has to make sure that the props are all back in the same place and everyone is matching so everything looks the same, which in and of itself is a lovely job, unless you're doing it for softcore porn jobs, which makes it a decidedly less fun environment, because there's way more Windex and sanitary gel involved with everything. You just really don't want to touch anything.
Wow. Wow, so presumably you have to make sure any implements that are being used stay where they should be?
Yeah. It was not ideal.
Can you tell us one of the titles you worked on?
I wish I could think, but we made a 90-minute film in 5 days.
Wow.
And I'm using the phrase film really loosely.
James, worst job you had before you arrived, if that's the word?
Why?
James was an actor in one of those films. That was the worst job.
Yeah, but I mean, it was supposed to be a hardcore porn, and then I turned up and it was very much a softcore. No, I worked at... it wasn't a bad job. I rather enjoyed it. I was a waiter at Bella Pasta in High Wycombe, and we used to, when they would put... I'm not saying they do this at all Bella Pastas. It's just what used to happen at my one. When they'd put, like, pizzas up on the thing, it was quite commonplace to just, like, nick a bit of cheese off and, put them out. And you just, like, well, and then you take things over. And I took 2 pizzas over to the table, and I went, your Four Seasons, and your Quattro Formaggio, and your pepperoni. And the whole table was 4 people. They just looked at the pizzas and then just looked up at me, and there was a string of cheese from the pizza to my mouth. And I just went... I'm going to bring you another one of these. And this one's on the house. Thanks.
Wow.
And then, I rather enjoyed that job. I liked it. I used to do all the hen do's.
Free cheese.
John, great to have you. I'm so pleased to come on the show. Thank you very much. Mr. John Hamm, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around if you don't mind. After the break, we'll be joined by the force of nature, Keith Lemon, and there'll be music from the fabulous Paloma Faith, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get my next guest out. He's the host of ITV's Answer the University Challenge. That's Celebrity Juice, of course. The irrepressible Keith Lemon. Get off me, Paloma! Get off me! Get off me! Look at that. As always, he looks magnificent. Have you met John? You know Talisa, of course.
In Green Room, there's a bit in Green Room where we all chat.
Yeah, OK, well, you come and sit up here.
Nice to meet you.
Come and sit up here. Come and sit down. How are you? Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you, thank you.
It's Christmas time, mistletoe and wine, so I've brought you a gift, Jonathan. It's nice to see you. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's lovely to have you here.
I see Cordon's fucked off. Does he hate me or something? I went to chat to him. Very interested in his film.
He's got to go back to America. He's doing press for the film over in New York.
He's doing good, isn't he?
Over there. He's doing great. I'll open this up then. What have I got? Ah, hold it. So this is just a lot of promotional Keith Lemon stuff. This is not... No thought's really gone into this. This is you...
Hold on! Have you got me a present?
Yes, I have, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
I bought you this, and I wrapped it for you. There we go.
Boris Johnson, the Churchill factor, yes!
I'll hold on to that one for now. OK, so we've got... What have you got here? There's the Keith Lemon... Is this a calendar?
Yeah, that's my calendar.
OK. I shall look for
You
that.
put that up in your kitchen.
I'll hang that up somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where. And little Keith Lemon's Memoirs of Me Childhood. So this is the first volume of your autobiography, I guess.
It's the second.
Wow.
I was on here last year promoting the same book.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, it's a different book, but the first one.
OK. Let me ask you about what you're doing for Christmas. It's just around the corner, of course.
I'm just through the keyhole, Christmas special, and I love doing it. Yeah, it's good.
Well, I love being on it. You've seen it. Have you seen Keith doing this? You've seen it, John?
I have seen Through the Keyhole.
OK. So, John, you know
my
about...
version.
Yes, your version.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
John, would you...
I didn't know you knew I was.
I didn't say I knew who you were.
All right.
There you go. OK. I think you speak for all America. There we go. OK, let's have a look at Keith Lemon's Christmas Through to Keyhole special.
So, first impressions are, it is incredible. I'm never going to leave here. I've actually got property wood. Just look at the place. They've got a swimming pool here with a jacuzzi in it. There's a cliffside allotment growing every fruit and veg known to man. They've got a chicken prison for fresh eggs. There's a fish prison for fresh fish. And just look at the ocean view. That is the best goddamn ocean view I've ever seen in my life. You could say it's stunning, a little bit like the owner.
Well, that is a beautiful home.
Yes. The American homes are very lavish.
So
is that
really...
what your house is like?
No.
OK.
Do you find that Americans let you in the home because they don't know who you are more readily, or do you find that them knowing who you are helps? For example, John, would you now consider letting Keith into your house through the keyhole now you've met him?
Oh, absolutely not. No, yeah, you could come to my house in L.A.
Wow.
Nice to meet you.
Much?
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
How much longer are you staying in LA for?
Yeah, I don't live there anymore.
OK.
So that's why...
Really? Now, you're not just doing Through the Keyhole. You've got this, and this is I'm genuinely excited about, because Keith Lemon is branching out into a whole new area, ladies and gentlemen, a comedy sketch show.
Yes.
I don't know if you're ready for it. I don't know if the world is ready for it.
Yes. I play characters, and we do spoofs of celebrities and stuff.
Tell us who you're being, and tell us why you've gone for this particular look. So let's put the first one up. OK.
I am obviously there, Dr. Christian from Embarrassing Body. He is a centaur, which is part man, part horse.
Yeah, if we go back to the bigger picture again, you'll see that there is
the
horse
back half
part
of me is a horse.
Yeah. OK, so there's Dr. Christian. I like the look of that one. Here's another one.
You don't know these people.
There, I'm David Dickinson. And I present a programme called Dickinson's Any Old Shit. People bring any old pieces of shit to be valued, and I value them. And they can be anything from a paddling pool to some toothpaste. Any piece of shit they bring in from home.
Could I hear a bit of your Dickinson voice? How does he speak on your show?
It's weird, because I can't... It sounds really up my arse, but I can't do it unless I'm in it. But
You're like David.
I think we should take that to auction. We should take that to auction.
And he has sort of... and when someone's saying... When the other auctioneer person is going, I'll give you 12 pence for that, he goes...
I'd take that to auction if I were you.
That sounded a bit Catweasel, didn't it? OK. Well, now I've seen those photographs, I'm genuinely looking forward to it more than just about anything else next year, apart from the Mad Men.
Well, you know, I haven't seen it all edited together, but what I have seen, I said to the commissioner who pays me to dress up as these people, I said, it might be the best thing I've ever done. Now that I've said that, everyone will go, it's shit. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I'm excited. It's out in February.
And now...
and Keyhole is on Boxmas Day. Boxing Day.
Boxing Day.
Boxmas Day don't exist.
No.
That's Christmas. And it's on Boxing Day.
Like John, you are, I know, considered to be a very attractive man.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, is there someone special in your life right now?
I've seen a French bird called Nicole, which is French for Nicola.
Oh.
And, that's French for Nicola. She's nice. Oh, looks a bit like you, actually. She does.
Shut up.
Got that sort of, that complexion like an IKEA hot dog.
Turn on him,
Big shout
like,
to IKEA hot dogs when you bite into them. Don't they, the snacks? I love those. It's so weird being me now. This is weird, being on this programme. I didn't think about it, but so I'm deconstructing it now. Sat here, first of all, if you've never been on a chat show, it's weird. You sit here and you go, I don't know how to sit.
Yeah, yeah.
You suddenly don't know how to sit, do you?
Yes.
Well, now that you're good.
There you go.
Nice. Oh.
That's a nice moment.
There you go.
That is the way to sit. That is the way to sit. I now feel bad. Talisa stepped out in there. Go on, get in.
Talisa, come in.
There you go. There you go.
Because it's Christmas.
Yes.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's a ham sandwich right there. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Keith Lemon. It's great. Keith Lemon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to all my guests tonight. Next week on our Christmas special, I'll be joined by David Walliams, Lewis Hamilton will be here, Barbara Windsor and Jimmy Carr, and we have music and chat from Ed Sheeran and Idina Menzel performing a very special Christmas song. But now, we leave while I'm not looking. Here she is, the fantastic Paloma Faith, ladies and gentlemen.
If you're gonna leave, you're gonna leave my heart in pieces. If you're gonna go, then you're gonna be the reason I cry. If this is goodbye, then you're gonna leave me shattered. You're gonna take away only all that ever mattered. I might die. So if you go, leave while I'm not looking. Do it fast, oh, please don't kill me slow. Leave while I'm not looking. Go silently. If this is the end, then it's only gonna end me. You rip my heart apart, there ain't nothing gonna mend me. I won't lie. So if you go, leave while I'm not looking. Do it fast, oh, please don't kill me slow. Leave while I'm not looking. Go silently, so my heart won't know. Leave while I'm not looking. 'Cause I can't watch you go, watch you go, watch you go. Have some mercy, you hurt me more than you know. So if you go, leave while I'm not looking. 'Cause I can't stand to see you go.
So will it be better?